Oh, gun's gone.
This is the crew's quarters. It looks abandoned.
Does it now? There's... children, basically? Yeah. Oh, yep, Canadian children. There's Canadian man, and there's his very Canadian-looking children. I don't know what Canadians look like. I'm just joking about the fact that the two Canadians looked similar, and then his two children's distant profiles also look pretty similar. Square heads with buzz cuts. I do not see the need for so many cameras. Tom's presence everywhere is slightly oppressive. I understand the need for transparency, but why is he in the toilets? Oh, is he? Did he hide did they... Oh yeah, it says WC. Yeah, those are the toilets. I also think they found a distant corner to put a note down where they could communicate silently, perhaps, because some of them that maybe don't trust the machine presence at all times might feel the need to put something down like that in a place where he can't see it to communicate. Weird how this is locked up, though. Don't touch. This is the 5th time. Oh, there's a button. But everything's just kind of broken here. You can't get inside there. That's too bad. Maybe intentional? Sarah Brooke, Chris McLean. Do these open? They do. You're not a body, are you? That seems to just be a bed. Not. There's a little bit of a height here, but I think that's just a pillow under the sheets. It's the other Canadian! Wait, are those the same boys? Oh, are they brothers? I didn't even read their names close enough to... Are they both McLeans? Did I not even notice that? They are brothers, that's why they look so similar. They're not... These aren't even the son... These aren't the sons, those are just them as kids. That's why they look similar. Alright, that's what I get for not looking close enough at that. Oh, they had a falling out. Me and Dan. Well. Hello. H something. I ho is supposed to spell something? It seems like they're organized there on purpose. Can I read these? There's no crouch button. Moonwatch log sheet. I can't look close enough at these to look at what they say. The Tom Touch 05. This must be a direct interface with Tom. Hey! Look who's got a geode. A slice of one. Can I turn you on? No. Oh. Got a baseball bat, a geode, and we've got future iPad. Drilling reports, they look uninteresting. On a roll here. Jackpot. Damage to external hold. Hold for inspection. Nothing on the backs. Does it have a year on it? No. Because we care. Oh, weird. That's not just a painting, it's a projection. That seems like it'd be using power up. Gerard. Canada. A Canadian hockey team jersey. Hey there. Oh! And we've got a flask. Can I use this? Okay, the chair's knocked over like he ran out. We can turn on the monitor, but we can't use the keyboard. Which is a rather important part of the concept of using a computer in the first place. Big emphasis on hockey in this room. What are the pills for? Riluzole capsules. Alpha Lab. 1 capsule, 12 hours orally. See accompanying prescription information. Protect from excessive light. That's just talking about storing it. Alright, I don't recognize the drug name, so I'm not sure what these do. Oh, weird. There's no bottom to. There's no bottom to the. They forgot to put a bottom on the canister, so you can see. Oh no, this is a really broken. This is a really broken model, unfortunately. Whoops. They didn't finish that one. Unless maybe it's supposed to look like translucent glass, but it doesn't look like transparent glass. It looks like it's just nothing there. Maybe they're Maybe there's supposed to be like a reflection to it that's more convincing. Oh well. Nice to get little crew quarters around this, but if he's the engineer, his brother was the captain. So Daniel's the captain, and his chamber's locked off. I don't see anything in it. Look how empty it is. Isn't that weird? His brother's cabin's totally packed with details, but his is totally empty. You could say that maybe they locked it off, and that's why, like, maybe the developer didn't want you to look that closely, but I think it's actually on purpose. I think it's supposed to look empty. What if he was a machine the entire time? So he goes back to his room and just sits there when it's time to go to his room, whereas his brother was like a human and has all these little personal touches of their own or something. Curious about that. And what if they found out? He tore up the photo of him and his brother, and then his brother's whereabouts are classified, apparently. This guy's stuff is listed as terminated, but his brother's listed as classified. So I'm thinking like maybe a little bit of like Alien going on here, where they had the android on the ship. Let's see, it's Sarah Brooke. The Tom Touch. Strange thermals on the west side of the crater. Oh, look at the puppy. So pretty pictures. Is she the one from Sarah Brooke? She is the German, I believe. Yeah, the German exobiologist. Or was she the Syrian? I've mixed the two up a little bit. Nope. Telemeters. A lot of files here. These look just like actually like my last job. The binding and everything. The same drug? Yeah, everyone's got Riluzole. Curious about that. Science! Okay, come on, man. You should probably have a more specialized book than the Science Book of Science. What are you? Some sort of sensor? COML, oh, Comlock. Hard to read upside down a little bit. What do you do? I'm curious. I mean, it looks like you plug a sample into the bottom and it analyzes something about it. Another radio. Weirdly organized pencils, and ooh, this one says stuff on it. Dear Tom, knowing that you're always watching, I thought I would write you a letter. As you no longer reside in my mind, I have decided to transfer my thoughts to text. I want to do so in the form of a history lesson, a lesson that perhaps you'll find condescending, but it's likely more for my sake than yours. Alan Turing is considered a father of theoretical computer science and artificial intelligence. Perhaps a lesser-known part of his life was his contributions to the field of biology. Why do you suppose his interests lay in these two disparate fields? I assume it was because he believed the world to be logical and understandable. He was a mathematician. He seemed to believe that the great complexity of the universe could be explained with simple rules. 2 years before his suicide in 1952, Alan Turing developed something called reaction diffusion systems. Inside the academic world, his work is cited more than his work on computers. It can be generally formalized as a one-line equation. Can I change the... Oh, there we go. I am no mathematician. However, in plain English, this equation describes things that wish to diffuse, however, also react with each other during this process. I'm sure this sounds strange to you, or at least very tangential to our lives here on Europa. What relevance does it have to anything here? Reaction diffusion systems show how patterns are created. They show how the leopard got its spots, and how the zebra got its stripes. But my real interest here is Turing's interest. that nature can be formalized, that we can understand the natural world in mathematical terms. Turing created the test to answer the question, can a machine impersonate a human? The intrigue behind that being, can the human mind be simulated by a machine? Why ask that question? To prove that the human mind is a machine. I am not sure this is Turing's opinion, however. Concerning consciousness, he states this. According to the most extreme form of this view, the only way by which one could be sure that a machine thinks is to be the machine and to feel oneself thinking. One could then describe these feelings to the world, but of course no one would be justified in taking any notice. Likewise, according to this view, the only way to know that a man thinks is to be that particular man. Which is, that feeds into what I was talking about earlier, that concept of, like, you can't know if something's properly conscious ever, really. All you can ever be certain of is yourself, because you can't inhabit other people or machines. If the human mind exists within the physical world, it obeys the same rules of physics and chemistry as every other thing in the world. Therefore, like all of nature, it is merely reactive. It is curious that nature would create, through the mechanics of determinism, creatures that believe they have free will. Conversely, I suppose if we conclude that we are all machines, we only came to this conclusion in a predetermined manner. We cannot claim credit for our discovery, as it is just a product of nature's genius, not our own. A humbling idea, I think. Behaviorism. Maybe we are more similar than we think. Sarah. That was very, very well written, actually. And nullifies my earlier attempts at trying to explain the concepts. Yay! Good job, Sarah! It's almost like you're some sort of expert they sent to space or something. There's always something slightly presumptive about that, right? About having a video game developer make a character who's like a super genius, special person, but of course they are the ones writing the character. Unless the person's actually written by someone like that, and that'd be extra impressive. But oftentimes I just assume that it's probably being written by some game dev that just likes to watch sci-fi. But hey, they're a good writer at least. Hello? Super glue, I assume? I don't know. Oh no, it's paint. Same pills again, huh? Are they the same type? Yep, they are. So he's got some painting supplies scattered around, and it's everywhere. He got paint all over the place. Let's see. Oh, syringe. Hello. What have you been doing? It's got a whole kit. What happened there? Oh, he's the one that's supposed to be keeping calm because he's been going crazy. Oh no. Even his ventilation is sad. Got a whole easel here, KRW. A lot of painting supplies. Well, where'd the label go? Didn't you have a label a second ago? There it is. Oh, it's morphine. Label's disappearing. Lot of morphine injections. That's what happened to him. He must have suffered an accident. That's a good painting. I don't know, it looks kind of... The way it's drawn, it looks like it looks printed. It's such a specific orientation of the slashes that it looks like when an Android character draws something, you know, like they're a dot matrix printer. But I mean, I've seen pointillism, so humans are capable of incredibly machine-like art. Anything else around here besides the obvious? Nope. Alright. March 6th, 2249. The whole team experienced nausea during a large electrical surge in Europa's atmosphere. I am concerned. This was not an instance of mass hysteria. Vital signs were affected. It caused a uniform surge in heart rate that was detected in all members of the crew. I am reporting to ISA. Next day, I reported the nauseous incident to the ISA. They offered an explanation of electrical disturbance to our central nervous system. That is ludicrous. An electrical surge large enough to affect our nervous system would have done more than make the team feel ill. I am going to experiment with some shock therapy. Next day, I have discovered that electrical fields disturb our telemetry implant in a way that I didn't expect. I have contacted the ISA, strangely. Tom was not comfortable with my attempts to disturb the implant. Oh. What if everyone was a machine on the entire crew, and that's why the electrical system had an unusual effect on their bodies that the doctor can't explain? The ISA have reported back informing me that I am not to disturb the implants. They have also encouraged me not to discuss this further with my team. I'm continuing to investigate. Good luck translating that. There's always somebody in the audience that speaks every language that ever shows up in any of these games, including all of the machine code ones. 2 days later. I have been running some experiments outside of Tom's view. I can tell he knows this. He has been acting differently around me, like an offended child. I feel increasingly nauseous. These implants seem to have neural connectivity. Out-of-body experiences are more frequent now. 5 days later, I have established a definite correlation. Against my knowledge, I have been implanted with a device that affects my mind. I used my opportunities in regular health checkups to investigate the crew. We all have them. Every single one of us is implanted with some mind-altering contraption. Tom has been encouraging the team to worry about my mental health. He requested that I retire away from the crew. Misinformation. So he's freaking out because he's catching on to the whole situation, which you kind of would expect the doctor to do. So it's a little weird they even have. I mean, they have to have a doctor in order to complete the illusion that everyone's a normal crew, because a normal crew would have a doctor. But you'd kind of expect him to pick up on the problem too, though. 10 days later. I cannot will myself to investigate this further. I grow tired quickly. I cannot think straight. I am not sure if the implant is affecting my thoughts anymore. I believe it is trying to subdue my mind. I think I am going to attempt an excision. I'm going to remove this implant. Uh-oh. Oh. Quite a while later. I'm typing this with my left hand now. The excision went wrong. I have successfully removed the implant. Unfortunately, I lost my hand in the operation. Tom is very angry. The crew refused to talk to me. Apparently, I am a bad influence. Sarah patched me up. How did you... In the process of... Oh, maybe by lost his hand, he just means like he lost control of his hand because of the fact that he was going into his own head to commit surgery on himself. I'm like, how did you cut your hand off when you're incising something on your head? That's a level of severity that shouldn't be possible. But I think he just means he lost control of it. A day later, I wonder if the nature of the organism and its disturbance of my DNA caused my awakening from Tom's influence. If so, that would make for a worrisome revelation. Perhaps this organism is not so friendly. Oh. Are we saying... Now we're talking about an organism. So do we think it's not an implant, but it was the bioorganism that the Japanese scientist found, and that it got into everyone's brain like a brain slug, and that's how it infected the entire crew? Is that what's going on here? Or is it did he think he was doing implants, but he was actually going into his own circuitry because he's a machine person? There's a lot of potentials here. 1 day later, Dan informed me that ISA have called for my termination. My masochistic experiment proves I am a danger to the mission. Fortunately, he chose not to lock me in the brig. I am going to investigate this implant further. I have to hide my work. The team are becoming increasingly aggressive. They seem to oppose my work to understand the implant. It does not help that Tom is encouraging them to distrust me. 1 day later. I have discovered the nature of the implant. It is a complex computer. It interfaces with the human mind directly. It seems to condition the mind through Pavlovian and instrumental conditioning, eliciting feelings of euphoria when the wearer is obedient and dysphoria when they are disobedient. It also has the effect of suppressing impulses in the frontal lobe, presumably to lower free will. It seems to interface crudely with motor neuron cells through the cerebellum. It is my hypothesis that the crew is controlled by this implant. That is their strong aversion to helping me. I need a method of suppressing its impact. Perhaps a drug. Riluzole? Maybe an antidepressant to minimize the conditioning effects. Combined with a strong electromagnetic field, I could use one of the industrial electromagnetics from the construction robots. So that's why everyone has the same drug in their room, is because everybody was using it to suppress the implant so that it could be removed. Which is why the previous scientist talked about Tom no longer being in their head. So maybe the organism part was a bit of a red herring? Maybe it's not an organism at all that we're talking about. Maybe it's just the implants that are part of how they're being all but controlled by Tom. Interesting. We'll see. 1 day later, I have managed to get Chris on my side. He has agreed to test some medical procedures with me in private. It will be more difficult, one-handed, but I must persevere. I am hoping to keep this out of the eyes of Tom, though I have a feeling he will still be listening. Of course he will be. He wants to know everything. You got a creepy robot that's controlling everything you do and what's inside of your heads. Yay! So you got Chris on your side. Which is probably why Chris has that photo torn up in his room. That was Chris, right? Gotta keep all the names straight. Yeah, that's the brother. The brother with the torn photo. Soichi Yui. That's the other. Oh no, this is the Japanese guy. Yeah, should have gone by the name, really. The bed looks roughly the same. Hey there. Some family. Does his head look plastered onto that? His head kind of looks photoshopped onto that picture of somebody else's body. Like, it all looks like one constant stock photo, but the lighting is different on his face, so it's photoshopped in, like, not quite perfect. Unsolved Rubik's Cube. A watch that does not seem to have interesting clues on it. Ooh. Violin. A lot of nice little objects to render for everybody. And everyone's got the same drug. Really, Zol. I wonder if it's a real drug or a sci-fi drug. Like, if it's made up for the context. It could be real. If it's just a... I'm sure there's existing drugs you could use to counteract some of the stuff. He gets motion sickness. Interesting. Although a real motion sickness package would have better font integration into its packaging than that does. Well, unless it's government. If it's just made for the mission, then maybe it'll just be crappy put together cover. But if this was a product sold on shelves, the logo would look better than that. It wouldn't be blurred out by the background dots. Sorry, I get a little... I think about details like that a little bit more sometimes just because I spend so much time making thumbnails for videos. It's like that. Trying to make things readable is always the thing I have to do. Ooh, there's multiple data logs in here. Oh. Got his wedding ring here. Seemingly. He definitely looks photoshopped into these pictures. That one especially so. His neck doesn't seem to line up correctly. Whoops. It's convincing enough if you look at it from here, but they let you pick it up, and then you can see, like, it looks like his neck's not continuing correctly. Yeah. Is it the same woman, even? It's a little hard to tell. Her face is covered in hand in one of the pictures. No special clues up there. One smear repeats twice, and it's the same smear that was in the other room. I'm not nitpicking, by the way. I'm just kind of noticing things. In the process of poring over every detail of a room for information for story reasons, I'll also pick up details that are just game development things. Hello, tiny tree. Take this! Ha 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 ha! Fall out! I'm a terrible person. Alright, which one do we start with? Hello. To Matt the... what? Matt the Willayton? Oh, Matthew Layton. At ISA International from Soichi Yui. Hi Matthew, I've been studying Organism 119. Please find attached scanning electron microscope image, which appears to show pilus formation. We hypothesize that this is a stress response due to high levels of radiation. We plan to infect a human cell line with Organism 119 to perform irradiation experiments with flow cytometry. Would this be appropriate? It would be great if you could get the department to look at the SEM image. Kind regards, Soichi. This text is weirdly low res. It's actually a little hard to read. I wonder if I think these might all be static images that I scroll down actually that have transparent backgrounds that allow the dots to not move with it. And if it doesn't, much like all the other textures in the game, if they don't render at a high enough resolution, it will look blurry. It's on Ultra, isn't it? That's the wrong screen. Game. Oh, there's what I was looking for. Where's textures? Ultra? Yeah, I want ultra textures. Nope, that's the best I can do. Alright. Get back out of here then. Alright, let's just continue with this. There's the microscope image. So this is him communicating with the outside. Hey, Sochi. It was great to see this image. Wow. Yet more complex life on Europa. Deinococcus radiodurans might be worth looking at, as it survives very high levels of radiation here on Earth. Similarly, you should consider looking at Sulfotubus acidocalidarius? What letter is that? Anyway, Darius? Yeah. Sulfolobus acidocalidarius produces pili. This is where the low resolution text becomes a problem. I'm like, what are those I's or L's? In response to radiation, and uses them to transfer DNA. Perhaps your organism uses a similar mechanism. Have you considered that organism 119 is transferring or scavenging DNA in a method of surviving radiation? As you well know, in terms of radiation, Europa receives 5.4 SV every day, over 300,000 times the level of Earth. The organism must have evolved such a high resistance to radiation as a necessity of survival. That said, the radiation between Thera Maculae is much lower due to the thick ice crust. Radiation experiments with flow cytometry show that an appropriate course of action. Hi, Matthew. We have attached an image confirming that organism 19 attaches to human cells. We'll proceed with the radiation experiments on these cell lines. We are renaming organism 119 Europa radiophilus. What do you think, Sochi? Oh. No response. Just him sending a message to Matt again. Hi, Matthew. We have now run the irradiation experiments and can confirm that E. radiophilus does indeed seem to confer resistance to radiation. See attached. We assume survival is due to DNA damage repair. We tagged various DNA repair enzymes with GFP and have found that DNA double strand break repair is occurring. See attached GFP images. Hi, Sochi. Something's amiss. We don't know what is performing the repair. The lab... wait, this is to Sochi for Matt? Yeah. Something's amiss. We don't know what is performing the repair. The lab doesn't know how E. radiophilus, good name, could repair DNA. Have you considered that another organism may be in symbiotic relationship with it? Perhaps a virus? To Matt from Sochi, we run a PCR on the human cells exposed to radiophilus to see if there was a virus present. We have discovered an unknown virus which we have named Unknown Europa Virus, UEV. Gel electrophoresis image attached. Sochi. That's more data we don't know. I don't know how to read the images necessarily, but the narrative's still here. This is phenomenal. You need to sequence this, Matthew. We've finished sequencing it. Data attached. It is a virus unlike any we've ever seen. Maybe we found a cure for, senescence? What is senescence? Is that something I don't know about, or is that something that's in this... Is that a real thing I don't know about, or is that a video game thing that's part of the story? Because I can almost see, like, what if they're, like, going on future space expeditions to highly radioactive planets so that they can then find a cure for some sort of disease back on Earth or something. A form of biological immortality. Oh. Never mind. A cure for aging? Is that what we're talking about? We are running some long-term tests on plants and mice to see the effects. This is Sochi again. The plants are clearly exhibiting longer lifespans when exposed to the organism. We don't have the facilities here to continue testing. We're going on to human testing. We are going to use ourselves as subjects. It's the only way to accelerate the process. Or progress. Sochi. End of correspondence. Huh. So they think they found a virus or an organism that can effectively create immortality. What's this one gonna be? Let's see, this is Sochi talking to... Oh, Chris McLean. So right here on the place. Talking about... I think it's supposed to say findings, but it says findings. There's a D at the end instead of a G, which is weird because it says RE findings up there. So normally that's a text field that's generated by hitting reply, but it just adds RE and that uses the previous text. So either that's a typo in the game itself on the first line, or Chris is just such a good Sochi's just such an anal retentive guy that he took the typo and he replaced the D with a G, even though he was when he typed his response title, which both of which will totally work for me, honestly. That could almost be a character trait that he replaces the D with a G on purpose. So what do you think you found then, Sochi? Chris? We found an extremophile, i.e. an organism that can live in extreme conditions, like a tardigrade, that survives massive doses of radiation. Radiation damages DNA. The extremophile has a virus living inside it. The extremophile scavenges DNA from the other organisms, which the virus uses to repair the extremophile's damaged DNA. Essentially, they work together to survive in what's called a symbiotic relationship. Sochi. So what's the implication? What does it do? Chris? In some ways, it is an immortal relationship. It doesn't seem to age biologically. Aging and death are ultimately caused by DNA damage. We have the ability to fix our DNA, but that ability is limited. This organism can repair damage caused by massive doses of radiation. It could harness this power. We could potentially, if we could harness this power, we could potentially eliminate biological aging, what is known as senescence. That was me just not knowing what the word meant. So it was a real thing. So you found something that could make humans immortal. Not exactly. There are many causes of death other than DNA damage. It would not save you from trauma, from brain damage, from cardiac arrest, etc., but it could potentially cure cancers and many genetic diseases and massively increase life expectancy. Interesting. So Sochi has a bunch of background about the organism they found, but nothing to say about anything involving Tom. I wonder if he's still around. Like maybe, what if something happened before they started going in on it, or maybe they just didn't get brought in on the whole situation? Except no, he has the pills. Although maybe they were prescribed the pills by the doctor and not even told why. If Tom was in their brain, the doctor would have to not tell them why they were giving them the pills unless they were willing to cooperate, basically.